welcome back to another V-Rising video. This is going to be basically just a video showing some highlights and some information that I got from the first 5 hours of playing Gloomrot. This is more so a warm-up run for me and my duo partner. We were playing with somebody who was kind of new to the game somewhat, and wasn't really familiar with progression strategies. So it was kind of us teaching him and, working through the beginnings of Gloomrot, the changes and whatnot. So I'm going to try to share some of the things that I learned with the strategies and whatnot that I had theory crafted beforehand, and then had, kind of seeing how they played out throughout the run. So the plan is essentially I'm going to be doing this probably for the first couple days, and then this Friday when I have more time, to play more. Me and my duo partner, we're going to have a freer schedule. We're going to be doing a fresh wipe that comes up on Friday. There's going to be plenty of those. Maybe on a 2x server, not really sure yet. But we are going to do that and see if we can't, get some really good gameplay for you guys. But just to start, so something, obviously the beginnings of Tier 1 are kind of the same. Really similar in the beginning here. We're just, getting level 10, going straight to Alpha Wolf. He's in the same spot, luckily. So really at this point, you're kind of just going to use the knowledge that you already have, get here first. If he's not here, there's some areas around here. It might be worth looking to see the 3 spots that he spawns, because sometimes he's not at his house, this first house here. But, if that's the case, no big deal. There's some other spots you can go. So, but he was here for us. So, we were able to pick that up really early. The changes to Alpha Wolf are actually huge. They're really, really helpful in terms of movement, getting around the map, juking, chasing people down, really just speeding up your progression overall. To the point that I almost am curious how much it's important, how important it is to even get a horse at the very beginning. I'm not really sure yet. I still loot Bandit Trapper here because I felt like, it's important to make sure we have as much of a boost before we base as we possibly can. The planks and whatnot are huge. Another thing to note also is you can see here my partner's sucking a worker with a little red mist around him. That means that worker is 90% or higher. The blood type of that thing is 90% or higher. So we lucked out actually after running through that camp, because we found a group killing Lydia right on the way to Keeley. So, hey, look, I'm not going to say a no to a free early Lydia. I would say Lydia's probably going to be one of the most, in my opinion, probably the big deciding factor of when you can continue progressing out of Tier 1 really quickly now. Just because Chaos Volley, even though it was nerfed, it's still really, really, really good for bossing. It's good for PvPing as well, but boss-wise, it's still amazing. So, after grabbing that, we went to Trapper. I still have my PvP protection timer on here. Met a little 4-man that was hiding inside a tent. I worked a little bit of magic here, waiting for Keeley to respawn. I asked them if they had a reinforced weapon. If somebody has, hey, you guys have a reinforced weapon you're not using? And it turned out somebody did. They tossed it to me, which was... look, you got to take what you can get, right? So, after getting that, that way I could just immediately start farming copper without even going to base. I don't have to worry about getting a workbench down or anything like that. Just immediately start farming copper with the PvP timer. And then, as usual, we kill Keeley. Super simple fight. Maybe with 300 people sucking her neck at the same time, or looking to suck her neck at the same time, might be a little bit challenging because there's just so much going on. But she's still pretty easy. She's still a really easy fight. So, yeah. So after that, I made sure that the next thing we needed to do was really look for more mats. Just really take advantage of our PvP protection timer as much as we could. In my opinion, I would say one of the most important things is probably going to be, before Gloomrot, we were trying to get as far as we could with our PvP protection, but really it was like, okay, get a base down. But now, I'm almost... I think that the best idea is actually using your PvP protection to get enough coins that you can go to a shady trader right off the rip and get some kind of book. So get a merciless copper recipe right away. That way, you don't even have to worry about it. There's no more like, oh, I could get ganked. There's nothing like that. You just get the thing. You know what you're going to focus on. So in this case, we got sword. We decided sword would be really good for just farming and maybe getting cotton and whatnot whenever we had to do that. So that way we could just immediately take advantage of that. So before my PvP protection even ran out, I had the recipe. My house was right next to copper mine here. That was just my partner picked a spot right next to copper mine, which I'll get into. Honestly, I think that is an ideal location somewhere around copper mine, because on populated servers, copper is impossible to find. Like, just copper ore is very difficult to find whenever everyone's level 10 through 30 looking for copper, and you need copper so much. So had to use this little moment here to clear out a little friend that we had in our base, and they're pretty useful for getting things like grave dust, even if they are a little bit difficult. But so another reason why it's really nice to be in a location next to copper mine is because there's a lot of people who have to go here, so there was a huge opportunity to gank people, steal their mats, just steal all the farm that they've been gathering from here. Make sure you get everything you possibly can, because again, like I said, copper's really hard to come by this early. So definitely, if you do make a base around here, you will want to take advantage of that. And me and my two other partners got in a lot of fights around here, met a lot of squads, gotten a lot of scraps, stole a bunch of stuff. So just keep that in mind. Also, again, that always be on the lookout for these high blood percentages. Found some high worker bloods and whatnot, so you can farm even more copper. I would say at this point, it's really important just to have somebody who's probably rocking worker blood. So, Errol, Stonebreaker, pretty nice, storage and stuff from him. And this whole time, we're kind of just grinding up the list, grinding up the tree, trying to get items by from looting chests and whatnot. You could look for gems, look for whetstone that you're going to need for your merciless copper weapons. And other than that, just workshop floors is really nice, different recipes and whatnot, all that's super nice. Grayson is a pretty easy fight, so even at a lower level you might consider trying to do him as well to get that workshop floor going. Okay, so when it comes to the ferocious bear, they nerfed this thing into the ground. Like, anyone who was familiar with pre-Gloomrot bear, horse learning it was fairly easy, but every once in a while you would have a horse that was a little bit, if it was too slow, like in the 8 speed range, or maybe it had too low of a turn speed, whenever bear would become enraged like this, it actually could knock you off pretty easily. But they dramatically reduced the attack speed of his hits there. I mean, you just saw that in that video there, or in that footage. I mean, he's so not dangerous anymore. He takes such a long time to hit you that I don't think it's even worth horse lording him anymore. Just kill him with Chaos Volley. So obviously from there, we immediately went to Quincy just to unlock the door. I think I was like level 30 by this time. Go ahead and just kill Quincy. He's still, in my opinion, he's still a really easy fight. It's just knowing what to do. If you understand his abilities and what he does, in terms of like what to look out for, like, okay, whenever he gets to a certain HP, he's going to start trying to reflect your projectiles. He doesn't do it right off the bat. So it's really nice to be able to do that, or to know that. So you just kind of wait. That's a big part of these fights, is a lot of times players get punished because they don't wait. They're too impatient. They kind of just throw attacks out whenever it's off cooldown. And then, these shields and whatnot, the reflecting shields and whatnot can hurt you. So, punish you for doing that. So if you just take your time and like, okay, he hasn't done his reflecting shield in a while. That means he's probably going to do it soon. So let me just hold on a second, and then, not hit him with it. So anyway, after that, kill Quincy. We are ready to start farming iron. Already at this point, this was about an hour, 15-minute Quincy. This is more so just like as we were learning about the game, learning about the new changes and whatnot. Had a bunch of different fights. Like, here's another PvP fight that we had. going through just people in the backside of our base. This nice little bandit camp here was pretty cool. You could gank people right out the backside of the base and just steal their stuff too. Super nice. Just had to be super careful with with everything. Make sure you were there with a team, especially on a quad server. If you're by yourself, it's pretty easy to get caught out. So definitely something you have to look at if you're trying to run on a quad server or whatnot, or maybe you have like a duo or something on a quad. Really important to try to stick together where you can, make good call outs and whatnot. So yeah, after a little bit more PvP, I just ran up to Iron Mine immediately at level 30. I will say this, Iron Mine is actually super scary now. Stuff in there was already scary, but it feels like everything just hits way, way, way harder. Some new enemies in here. This Guardian guy here, just had to watch out for what he was doing. Yeah, he definitely does a lot of damage. And then Undead Commander is now a V-Blood Krill. And I wanted to see what this was like because I saw that all he had that was different was just Ward of the Damned. He now uses it. But as you see there, another change that they made that you may not be familiar with is his spin to win actually has different timing. And it does so much damage, you have to be really careful. Unfortunately, I actually ended up doing, I was trying to rush this one a little bit too fast, as you can see here. Like I would kind of like get just barely unlucky with my Chaos Volleys. You can just do so much damage early here. He's level, I think, 48 or something like that. So I would get really unlucky with these Chaos Volleys, and I would just throw one out, and he wouldn't have anything up. I was getting impatient, just trying to do some damage, and I'd throw one out like this, and what do you know? I'd be like, it'd be in the middle of casting, and I'd throw one thing, and I hit it. So I got really unlucky here. I tried to get away. You see another one. Over and over and over again. It was very frustrating. I kept getting annoyed, so I was trying to get away from here. I tried to dash. You can see the dash, but then get hit anyway. I don't know if that's like ping diff or something, but that was annoying. I was very frustrated. This is the first death of the run, was just that right there. I was like, oh, come on, man. He was so low. But here's something interesting I found out on the way back. I was running back in to get my stuff. I saw Meredith fighting some skeleton mages, and she was getting destroyed. So actually, after getting my stuff, I came back, and look how low she's getting here. I was like, I just wanted to watch and see what was going on, and look at this. They do so much damage to her. I was like, oh, I guess I just get Meredith for free. Like, I'm level 30, Meredith's losing to skeleton mages, not even fighting Krill, which I'm assuming she still does. Yeah, so I just got a free thing here. This is a Storm Veil and Holy Resistance Potion, which you'll need. So, drop my iron off and some important stuff off for a teammate, so he could run that back to base, get it smelting as soon as possible. I will say that is like extremely important. The earlier you can get things smelting, the better. And this time I had a bone to pick with Krill. I know 30 is like pretty daunting, but again, if you have experience fighting the Undead Commander, take this fight a little slower than you usually do, and it is honestly just as easy. It's a little bit longer, but at level 30, imagine I'm unlocking Ward of the Damned here, which is extremely, extremely good for PvE. I mean, PvP too, but PvE, it's just so strong. Summoning skeletons and also being able to use Condemn. You'll see how strong it is later on in this video here. Just going to see exactly how I can use it here. But again, just smack them, take your time. This time I didn't summon a single skeleton. I didn't get hit a single time. I just took all the time I possibly could. Let him do what he was going to do. I just played very reactively. Just whatever he did, I did the move to counter it. I didn't like try to anticipate and say, oh, I think he's probably going to do this, so I'll throw out my Chaos Volley now. Instead, I'd say, let's just wait to see what he does and then attack him. So super easy kill if you are patient. Very easy. And if you fight him in his lair here, there's no patrols that come by either. So again, just grabbing all the iron that you possibly can afterwards, getting home. That's what's nice about these back exits. If you have a base in Dunley, you can just hop right out and run back. It's super, super nice. But while I was back, actually, I noticed, here's something for veterans out there. You may remember horse jumping into people's bases. A lot of new players in the game, so you can get away with that with wolf form now. So you can just jump into people's bases and say, So I took the opportunity. We were still looking for some copper coins, and wouldn't you know it, these guys decided to leave all their loot out here. So, just happen to yoink some of that. So keep your eyes, keep your eyes peeled. Also, if you're a new player, block your base off. Don't let people wolf jump in your base. So I came back and told those guys what was going on later. I felt bad because they're new players. I stole so much stuff from them. So I ended up telling them, like, hey man, just block your base off like this and whatnot. So at this point I was running back. I think I had actually dropped some loot off already and saw a couple guys. I thought that one was chasing the other, so I was like, oh, I'll start fighting him. But it turns out they were actually like teaming somewhat. But luckily I had Quincy ult and they did not, so I just decided to get this fight going. I was right next to my base, so my boys came out. We got some quick fights here, some more loot, gotta get that loot. Again, super nice on these active PvP servers to be able to get nice PvP fights in, especially in these early zones, skip some progression and whatnot, so. Here you'll probably notice I swapped a wolf early. This was like a just in case thing. I didn't know if he was gonna try to get away, so against my my partners here, if he had countered and dashed and instantly gone wolf, he probably could have got away from them, which is why I was swapping to wolf. Putrid Rat, super easy to get now. Unsullied, 1 unsullied heart, 4 grave dust. So get that early. Beatrice no longer leaves the village. I didn't realize this, so I thought I had her back here again, like in the back with the pig pen. That place is super nice to capture her or catch her in there. There's no patrols that go back there. So this is where it gets a little. This is where Word of the Damned came in clutch big time, because she also doesn't leave the village. I don't know if they thought this was going to make it like easier or something to kill her, but it actually, if anyone is familiar with this fight, it actually makes it harder because you have to like worry about the entire town. But that's no big deal. Word of the Damned and dashing and stuff, just being smart with our abilities, made it super easy for us. Again, killing Beatrice this early is a huge deal. Just getting your cotton going as fast as possible. Just really making sure we get all of the things going. Cotton and iron. The earlier we get those going, the better. The earlier we get those going, the better. So take her out as early as you can and make sure you do that and go grab that cotton ASAP. So that's what we did. Grab some cotton. There's this weird bug with horse Q for some reason. I'm not really sure if this is intended, but like you jump off horse with Q and then you have like a second wait time before you can use your Q. I don't know what that is, but I really wish they would switch it back because it feels horrible. So in my opinion, it feels awful. So hopefully they switch that back. Make sure you're grabbing these lootables. They can have all kinds of things in here. Recipes, gems, wool thread. You will need a lot of wool thread. Make sure you're grabbing wool thread early wherever you can. Bear forming in base. This is a classic thing. At this point, I was feeling pretty confident with my level, so I made use some of the iron to make a Reaper, just so I can go kill Tristan here. I'm a little bit lower level than him. Honestly, he's a really easy fight if you know what to do, especially with Word of the Damned and Reaper. I mean, just look at how much damage we do and how easy it is just to stay away from him here. Just Word of the Damned. He comes at us again once he rolls up here, and just smack him away. I mean, super easy. Keep your distance. Throw out Reaper E. If he gets too close, use Reaper Q. Word of the Damned draws aggro. Save your dash for the bombs if you need to. I honestly, I'm probably going to end up doing a run where I'm fighting all of the bosses a lot lower, because those heals that you get from getting them to half seem like such a huge advantage that I generally don't take advantage of, because I usually don't get hit much. So if I get hit, I may get hit like once or twice, and it's usually not that big of a deal whenever it happens. So, a lot of times I'm not getting hit at all, so I'm wondering how far I can push these fights in those situations. So in this situation, I was up in Dunley, and I was talking to this dude, asking where he was. I was trying to shake him down for some loot. His boy started talking crap, and so I said, all right, you know what? Let's do this. Gotta kill these guys then. And so I got into a little fight here. Missed an ult, sadly, but no big deal. I was able to get one of them down, and, just in a 1v2 here. Trying out the greatsword. That was another reason why I wanted to do this. I haven't used the greatsword yet. Just wanted to see what it was like. So Q seems super strong. Q into auto attack or left click is really strong. But E, I'm not really sure. E doesn't seem all that great. It might be good to like dodge things. So if you see somebody throw out something big, you can just press E real quick, like their ult or something. Just press E real quick. But chased after this guy for a little bit, got in this funny little wolf dance. But I felt like I didn't really want to spend the time to chase after him this much. So after a second, I just let him run away and took his boy's loot. So after that, it was time to do Leandra. You'll notice here I'm at the second to last tier in her zone in the Church of the Damned. So if you come back all the way back here, you can actually use this spot to drop all the aggro, or most of the aggro of the monsters you were fighting, as you were drawing as you were going up there. I decided to Horse Lord her because I just didn't want to risk anything. I was trying to do this as fast and safe as possible. And with high rogue blood, I had a lot of crits. So you'll notice it's like 50 damage a crit from horseback. Like, huge damage. So at that point, I'm like, okay, I'm just going to kill her really easy. So not a hard fight. Probably worth doing early, honestly, if you have like something like rogue blood. So I might look at this earlier. But the issue now is Scourgestone Pendant is nowhere near as easy to get. Nowhere near as easy. It is 12 Scourge Stones. You have to make sure you're getting those as well. Then I came up here to do Maja. There was a 4-man up here who was getting absolutely destroyed because some bosses are pretty easy to do with multiple people. This is not one of them. Highly recommend you do this solo because the more people there are, the more ads she spawns. So I started out, I was doing pretty good. I'm not really familiar with her mechanics that much yet. And then all of a sudden they decided, you know what? We want to come back in. We want to participate in this fight. I can't blame them, new patch. But this is what happens when that happens. So after a while, we got into the situation where everyone was getting destroyed. I came in, kind of saved the day here, had a funny little moment here. So here's some audio whenever I was able to clutch it up. I was able to finally clutch up the fight and get it for him. This is the end of it, after that clutch.
She's dead.
Yeah, send one of you guys in. If one of you guys gets this and everyone else is still like semi-alive,
Yeah.
it'd be good.
Yeah.
So you guys suck first.
Go first.
Nice shot, guys. That's what I like to see. Teamwork. Yes. So after that, something else we have to look at is, so with the study, the changes to what it takes to make the study, we need reinforced planks now. And a lot of people are going to be going to the Bastion of Dunley because, on the map it shows that it drops there. It doesn't show that they also drop up here at the Werewolf Village, as well as a lot of glass, wool thread, wool thread and whatnot. So use that to your advantage. Come here in the daytime, super easy. Usually there's nobody up here. There's lootables, there's chests, there's all kinds of stuff you can get up here. I think a lot of people don't know this, because whenever you hover over on the map, it doesn't actually show that what kind of loot is here. So keep that in mind. But if you don't get everything you need, you might have to go back over to the Bastion of Dunley, which has tons of patrols. So the way you can avoid that is running to the back of Octavian's area here, hopping off back here, and letting the aggro drop. Which obviously is, the easiest way just to not have to fight the entire city. It's also helpful because if somebody is riding by and they notice that everything's dead inside, they might realize, hey, there's probably someone in there to come gank you. So you can kind of use that to hide from them. As you see here, there's 3 reinforced planks in that chest that I just opened. Huge deal. You need 8 for the study, so 3 reinforced planks. Hey, I'm not saying no to that. So, yeah. So make sure we're taking these cave passages home. I'm not gonna lie, these things really are insane. The more you use them, the crazier it is. The closer you are to these in Dunley, I'm telling you now, you're gonna have a huge advantage compared to anywhere else, in my opinion, for progression speed. It's just so fast here. So we came back, made a study, and I realized that I actually had a recipe for an upgraded necklace. And since I already had the Scourgestone pendant ready to go, or like the mats for it ready to go, for the most part, we made a Scourgestone pendant, and then we immediately upgraded it into the amethyst necklace there. Which that was about, I want to say I was about 4 hours in now. So in about 4 hours, I had full Hollow Fang, just about full Hollow Fang. I want to say right after this, I finished my Hollow Fang. an iron weapon, full hollow fang, and an upgraded necklace. So I was set at level 53. Yep. So I set at level 53 here in about 4 hours, which honestly I think I can push way faster. But I took the time after that to head over to Brighthaven, start farming some things. This is where it gets, to be this high level was pretty nice, so I didn't have to worry. I could actually fight the enemies fairly easily and not have to. I wouldn't die in like 1 or 2 hits. You can come here whenever you want, but you just have to make sure you have your jukes on point. Look at these jewels, by the way. Just look at this. I think there was 3 jewels, tier 3 jewels in this one house, in this one thing here. So even though they were fighting me, I was able to get a bunch of jewels here. But just remember, use your juke abilities. You're going to have to dodge. Woo! Look at that. Insane. So, yeah, check those chests and whatnot. But anyway, that's where I'm going to stop, this part for now. That's whenever I ended up logging off after this. Super enjoyable so far. I can't wait to be able to do a real full duo run coming this weekend on Friday and whatnot. But for now, we're just going to keep using this as a warm-up run. Anyway, thanks for watching. Really hope you enjoyed it. Hope you are enjoying Gloomrot. And we will catch you in the next one.